This is Pat Quadros. I'm a blogger with TV Spyglass and Blog Critics. Joining me on the line is actor Johnny Alonso. He's got an extensive resume to boot. He's been host of Emmy Award-winning series NASA 360 and a regular interviewer on Click on This. A few other highlights include an HBO series with director Martin Scorsese, Western Day of the Gun, a movie called Coffin, and of course a recurring role on Gotham. Thanks for joining me today, Johnny.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. You make me sound like a Hollywood star.
Well, I do think you do fit into that category, and I hope by the end of the interview everyone else would agree too.
What's going on? How's everything over there?
Yeah, well, I'm actually on the East Coast, so it's nice that you can join me from the West Coast.
Right on. What part?
I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia, so we're the home of Thomas Jefferson and the Wahoos. Ben McKenzie, who's known to many fans of Gotham, he actually graduated from the university, so shout out to Ben there, okay? You've got an exciting new project coming up. It's called Chronology. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, Chronology. Where do I begin? I've worked with these directors, and I said director is plural because I'll tell you more about it. Kipp and Derik, Kipp, Tribble, and Derik Wingo. They both were my directors for a movie called Coffin that I shot in Hollywood about 5 years ago. Did great. I mean, they sold into several markets worldwide. Redbox got it, Netflix, On Demand, whatever. And the response was great for an independent film. Bruce Davison and Kevin Sorbo starred in the film, and I starred next to them. And like I said, it was shot down here in LA, and it was awesome. And when I was on set, the directors said, we want to talk to you about another project that we're going to try to together in the next couple of years called Chronology. I said, yeah, sure. We'll talk about it when that time comes. So 4 years later, they finally got their investors and their distribution package together. And they've locked in a bunch of actors, a lot of star names, and they just signed me on for the character Dobbs, one of the core main characters in this new film, Chronology. Chronology is going to be starring Danny Trejo, Billy Baldwin, Bruce Davison is attached as well. They have somebody from The Walking Dead, I can't remember her name now. But Dolores James, she was on Next Top Model or whatever, she's going to be in the movie as well. So it's got a nice cast. Patrick Barnitt, he was one of the leads in Coffin. He's going to be also making an appearance in Chronology, as well as Kipp and Derik. So it's going to be a fun shoot. 1 week in Poland, and then several weeks in parts of South Carolina. I can't remember which cities, but it's going to be really neat. It's going to be a neat piece. And the film's kind of about how two lives kind of interchange with some crazy time travel and weird mystery and backstory, and it's very hard for me to explain, but it's one of the coolest scripts I've read, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Well, that sounds neat. Sounds like quite a supernatural thriller. And from another interview I saw, Click on This, they were talking about how Derik and Kipp have actually been working on this for maybe 10 years. You started in the process another 5 years later. What led you to decide to team up with them again?
I like the way they work. Like I said, they're two directors on set. Most people are one is enough. But having two directors on set really gave you a little more insight. One director will tell you which way he wants you to go, or gives you an idea. No director ever tells you what to do, but gave me an idea, and then I would talk to the other directors and would, do you like this? Can we go in this direction? And they would probably add a little more to it or trim it down. So it really does save a lot more time on set because you're not fishing for what they're looking for. You're kind of getting more of an answer, and then it's really up to the actor to give their interpretation and make it work for the scene, and it really does work out for specs. And I love their writing. Their writing is super strong. I like intelligent writing. I mean, actors when they first start out, you just grab anything you can because you're supposed to. You're supposed to act. That's your job. But now, kind of in a position where I can choose what I work on, if that makes any sense. And when I read Chronology, duality. I couldn't put it down. I'm not just saying that because I'm attached to it. I really couldn't put it down, and I think you're going to enjoy the film. I really do. I think you're going to love it.
Are you allowed to say if Dobbs is a good guy or a bad guy or somewhere in between, or you want to keep that as a surprise?
No, I can kind of tell you. Like I said, I'm one of the core actors in the project, intertwining with Baldwin and Trejo and everybody. My character starts off as the stereotypical Johnny Alonso character, which is rock and roll, which is bad boy, which is all of the great above, and he kind of changes later in the project. I'm not going to tell you how and why, but like I said, when two people's lives are kind of transported and changed, everybody else around them, their world changes, and it's really something. So I love my character, and I love how it changes. Halfway on the 50-yard line, halfway through the movie. And it's going to look great for my acting range.
Well, that's great. You think you're going to have a lot of fun with Trejo and Baldwin?
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. I already met Trejo. Danny Trejo is like one of the coolest guys ever. And what a career he's had. So, we were talking about his tattoo artists versus mine. And I can't wait. Billy Baldwin I haven't met yet. Of course, I work with Bruce Davison and Coffin, and he's one hell of a guy to work with. The guy is so insightful, and he's just there. And working with Patrick again, of course, and Kipp and Derik. We kind of know each other's mannerisms on set, so it's gonna be a fun shoot.
Well, that's awesome, and I'll be looking forward to touching base with you about it again. Let's move on to another topic here. So you've played a number of dark or shady characters through the years. Is it more difficult to be a bad guy, or what are you looking for in the roles that you're choosing now?
My agent has always said, listen, it's better to be stereotyped and work every day of your career than being stereotyped as a non-working actor. I've never forgotten that, and it's true. You can build from being a stereotype, and you can make your mark, and you can get known and be seen by casting directors, and eventually they're like, he was great on set. He was so much fun on set. You remember that guy? Well, you see him in this character.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you think he's got enough juice to play this guy. People take chances. You're not always going to be forever the second in command, the leather jacket, bad guy. No, it's fun having that because there's always that character in a project. There's always some antagonist. There's always an antagonist in a project. You don't have to be wearing a leather jacket. You can be wearing a priest outfit. Priest outfit is still be bad. So there are many ways of looking at this. I don't have a problem being stereotyped because I've had so much fun playing all the roles I've ever played and booked. And now I'm starting to go into other character types, and I'm glad I'm doing it now because I really have the chops to do it. If I tried doing it a couple of years ago, I don't think I would have been up for the challenge. I don't think I definitely would have lost against a lot of other actors that do these other roles on a frequent basis, like comedy. I'm not that great at comedy. Comedic timing is difficult, and I took classes at NYU for it, but I'm just getting my comedic timing, and I just did a commercial. Well, I shot a commercial called for Barbasol, which is comedic, and it's now being played nationally, and it's fun watching myself in that suit. It's a different light, and my family likes it. They're like, "Oh, you're not killing anybody this time. It's great."
I did feel kind of sorry for you in that elevator scene, though.
No, that was great, and they're trying to. My agent said the ad agency, the Barbasol might make it a recurring theme. So, I don't mind the royalties and residuals off these commercials. Believe me.
Well, that'll be good. So, how do you prepare for your roles and keep that energy sustained when you're going from start all the way on location to post-production and, voiceovers and ADR?
Yeah, great question. I'll start with audition because, as an actor, your job isn't to act at first. Your job is to really audition. You have to learn how to audition, and you have to know how to have an opening, a middle, and close within 2.5 pages of dialogue in 3 minutes for casting directors when you're in front of them. So that's the trick. You know, I've learned about it's about having fun. If it's not fun, then you shouldn't be doing it. And I love being in the business. I love everything about it. And there's more to acting than just being an actor. And you have to have hobbies, because you know, I think the most boring person is one that does not have hobbies beyond their job, or you know, it just gives you a little more color. So, how do I sustain my energy? Just I've always been in the entertainment industry for as long as I can remember. I used to be a musician before I was an actor. So, I know it's about always having that game face on, and you are your biggest cheerleader. No one else believes in yourself more than you. You gotta believe in yourself. So that's the start. And then when you finally book the job, I consider when I booked the job vacation, because I no longer have to travel all over the place for auditions. So I'm happy to be on vacation with my job, and I hone in, and I talk to my coach. I still have my coach. All actors should have coaches. And we'll Skype, and we'll do different ways of scene study and, you know, character analysis, and just have fun with it, man. You know, thinking out of the box. That's the most difficult thing for actors. We get so used to thinking, oh, you got to do it this way. I'm so comfortable with this. Well, you know, people really don't advance until you disturb your comfort zone. You have to disturb your comfort zone, and that's one of my biggest drives. So after production, post-production, yeah, they call you in for ADR. Everyone hates ADR. I can't stand ADR. But you finally get to see some of the footage, so that's always fun, you know. And like I said, you just have to keep the bright smile on it. If you don't, step back, take a breather, you know, play some golf, and then come back in, you know, do something. But you definitely need to find a way to keep the energy up.
Right. Way to keep a healthy perspective, and kind of like music, you got to keep the instrument well-tuned and well taken care of.
Totally.
I saw an interesting video on your channel, the Day of the Gun movie, and you play this Chaplin-esque sort of mortician, and there's a black and white alternate scene, and it actually reminded me of the kind of playful swagger of The Undertaker. I don't know if you've seen the music video by Oasis, The Importance of Being Idle.
I'm very familiar.
Okay, so that's what it reminded me of. And then I read a little bit more about it and saw that you were trying to channel a bit of Chaplin. And then it kind of made more sense to me. But so if you can talk about that if you'd like, or we can also talk about, you know, what are some productions that have really stuck with you as being particularly special? You know, NASA 360, you had a really interesting story about that yesterday.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, regarding what you just said about gigs that have stuck with me, Day of the Gun is actually one that I enjoyed very much, and still today talk about, because as you know, you saw the character, the mortician, the town mortician, didn't have any lines. Silent acting, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin. Not easy work. Very challenging. Many actors can just rely on their dialogue and their great baritone voice to get through it. This was silent acting, and I had like maybe 4 minutes of a scene, 3 or 4 minutes of it. You're like, oh, that's not very long, dude. It's an eternity. When you don't have any dialogue, and you're trying to get this point across, and you're trying to steal and capture the scene. So I will say that I really relied on my set and my costumes, since the movie was a Western and it dated back in the early or mid-1800s in Montana. And when I got into the gear, and I wore that top hat, and I put the glasses on me, and I walked on set, all of a sudden it just kind of clicked. And to be frank with you, I didn't really rehearse any of that before my scene. I just wanted to go with it, and if I had a problem with it, I was going to ask the director to almost walk me through it, and I'll be a parrot. I will do whatever they want me to do, which most directors don't do. but I just felt it. There was an audience there, and 30 people were running lights, cameras. I was not in a position to let them down. It was also like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and the sun was starting to dip. So I just pulled from my banks of watching some Keaton and Chaplin literally 2 days before the shoot, and kind of put it together. And I told my director I want to play him a little drunk, and that he's getting drunk not on whiskey from the bar, but he's getting drunk on his embalming fluid. So he's not just drunk; he's hallucinating. So you put all that together, and that really it makes for a great character. And we did it maybe twice, and the tape that you saw was the first tape. They loved that one that much, and it was shot on two camera setup. So the angles were covered, and it was fun. I mean, it was fun. It was a nice. God, I think the piece came in right in the middle of the film, so it was a nice change from everything. And I prefer the alternate scene. I like the music in the alternate scene a little more than the one they had in the film. But it's on the DVD, the outtakes and stuff.
Right. Something for everyone to look forward to. So the second part of the question, any other special productions that have really stuck with you?
Yeah, well, NASA 360, one of my favorite TV series of all time. Only because, well, I love the guys that I work with, Kevin Krigsvold and Mike Bibbo, as well as Jennifer Pulley. We traveled the world with this show. We traveled the world. And, I mean, we shot all over the country. We shot in Hawaii, Greenland, the Pole, you name it. We had NASA access clearance all over. I have met some of the most interesting scientists and people, engineers and astronauts, and I interviewed Alan Bean, who was on the Apollo mission. I flew flight simulators. I bailed out of helicopters. I saw sensors before they were used for phones and GPSs. The first electric car. I mean, I did everything with these guys, and it was the greatest show. Seriously, the greatest show. We did over 30 some odd episodes. We won several Emmys, and for editing and for content and for whatever. And it was just the greatest, because hosting isn't acting, by the way. There is some acting involved, but hosting, you're really a segue between the person you're interviewing and the camera of you pulling to the viewer. You're just in between the viewer and this guy. So it's a different kind of acting. It's what they call hosting. But it was so much fun. And I've talked with the producers of NASA 360, and we've been toying around trying to get another project together. Kevin's like, we got to think of another show, man. We got to think of another show. Well, as long as it takes me, fly me all over the country, like what we did with that show, I'm more than happy to do it again. But NASA was great, and of course, my kickstart, into my career was Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill. I auditioned for Dawson's Creek 28 times, back and forth to North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. And that didn't even include callbacks. I auditioned 28 times from pilot to last season, and I booked an 8-episode recurring in the last season of Jimmy Franco. And then I'm the only actor that went from Dawson's Creek and segued into One Tree Hill right off the bat. They gave me a role in One Tree Hill with Joey D, the band manager. So that was my kickstart into everything. So those gigs, from Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, into NASA 360, and that's the timeline right there. That was really just a great time in my career.
I didn't realize you'd auditioned 28 times for that role. That must have been really intense.
Oh, it was, man. Let me tell you, it was in the Baltimore Sun. They put in the paper 28 times the charm. Johnny Alonso, Dawson's Creek. And the casting directors were like, we know you're going to book. We promise. The reason why we're calling you in is because we love you and we think you're great. I've been auditioning for the Cannons. They're the ones that used to cast those shows for years. And there were times I'm like, I'm not driving to Wilmington, North Carolina. It's 7.5 hours away. I don't feel like going. my agent's like, you gotta go. It's your job's to audition. So I go, and I drive 7.5 hours. I audition for maybe 15 minutes in their studio and drive back. And I finally nailed it. And when I nailed it, it wasn't just lucrative, but it was really great for my career. I mean, I became a WB actor. And they threw me into One Tree Hill, which was WB transforming into the CW network. So now I'm part of the CW family, which got me a lot of other gigs. Word generates work, man. And if you don't audition, you never know what's going to happen. And I'm very fortunate and glad that I did finally make all those trips down to Wilmington, North Carolina for their shows.
Great. And I'm glad it really paid off as well, because then we would have never seen you in Gotham, which is the next thing I want to talk about.
Gotham. You know, let me tell you about Gotham. First of all, let me backtrack. I haven't been booking in New York for a while. The market has changed. Getting pissed off at auditioning in New York. Well, my agent said, look, man, there's a new project that Martin Scorsese is putting together. And back then it was still called the Untitled Rock and Roll Project. I said, well, that's me. She said, yeah, you. So while I auditioned to the pilot, didn't book anything, or so I thought, waited for months, and then finally we got a call. And they said, yeah, man, we want to book Johnny Alonso as the bass player for one of these hard rock bands called Vanguard. That's going to be in this Untitled Rock and Roll Project with director Scorsese. What am I going to say? No? Of course. So I booked this hard rock band project, and I'm a bass player in 1977 in a band called Vanguard, and they're playing hard rock, and they turn and transform into New York punk rock in late 77, which is all of which I'm totally about. So I had a really cool character. It's very short-lived in the pilot because we're supposed to get in the second episode reintroducing the band, but we haven't heard about it yet. So, but from there was an associate that was working for this new project called Gotham. They saw my footage and they saw my audition and they saw my work on the set with Scorsese, and they said, we think Johnny Alonso is perfect for a role on Gotham as yet another bass player in Oswald's house band called Paradox. And my agent was like, sure, what are we going to do? And they said, we pretty much had it in the bag. Put these songs on camera and send it to us. I literally put the bass lines on camera, playing in front of it, send it, congratulations, I booked the role of Kazz. So I did 2 episodes of Kazz last season, working next to Robin Lord Taylor, who plays the Penguin. And Robin is probably one of the sweetest guys you will ever meet. He is. I was a fan of his when he was on The Walking Dead, and he's super cool. I mean, being on this set of Gotham has been it's been a wild ride. And we shoot in Brooklyn. We shoot at Sinus Studios, and our stuff for Oswald's nightclub, never shoots until 8 in the evening, and you don't stop until maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. So they're always late night shoots. And you would think that a lot of us actors would be getting, real temper tantrum-y and not nice to work with. Everyone there on this set, and especially Robin, has such a great positive outlook on this set that we love being there at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, because we're part of this club. We're playing punk rock music, with wild colored hair, and I'm laughing with Robin eating pizza between takes. I mean, we're just having a blast. So we're coming back again this season. 1 episode currently, hopefully 2. Keep your fingers crossed, and if you see my stuff on Twitter, retweet it. Telling Gotham writers if you want to see the band one more time at Oswald's.
That's awesome. We're going to get into some more about that in a second, but let me just recap a little or share some information about that. So the second season is going to premiere September 21st. It's still going to hold on to that Monday night slot, 8/7 Central. And so far, Penguin seems to be on top as the new king of Gotham. That means 2 things for sure, I think I can safely say. 1, you probably have an awesome after party at Oswald's to celebrate. And 2, Kazz, the bass player, gets to keep his job for a while, which you just touched on. So let's talk about your thoughts about the Batman franchise. I mean, Batman has been around for many decades. Some people might even be afraid to touch it. And then we've got such a stellar cast. We talked about Robin Lord Taylor, Sean Pertwee, Ben McKenzie, fellow Wahoo there. What are your thoughts about the Batman franchise and sort of how they've been able to tackle it and sort of weave it into their own?
I think they're doing a great job. I mean, Batman itself, the story, if you're a fan, you love it, and you love new stories about Batman. But we talked about this on set. This is great. This is all the stuff behind the stuff that we already know. And if you haven't noticed, Gotham is eternal fall. The sets are all eternal fall. Because it's supposed to be just that blink of a comic book page. So if you read any of the stuff from the earlier days, you could figure out times between a page. This is where the stories fall in. And I think they're doing such a great job. I think the timeline's a little slow. I mean, Bruce has got to grow a little bit, which he will. I'm not going to give away too much stuff, but they're going to hyperactivate and move forward a little bit. But I think they've done a great job, and we've all grown up with Batman. We've all grown up with the DC, Marvel comics, and the stories, and I think they're doing a great job. I mean, Batman itself. Good stuff. I mean, like I said, as kids, we all knew the stories. But just now with Gotham around, I mean, it's just kind of weaving it in. It's really a special show because you don't need to know much about Batman's backstory to watch the show. You don't need to know anything. It's just if you're a fan, awesome. If you're not a fan, you'll become one.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular hopes for season 2? Since you're Oswald's band, you gonna hang out at his mother's for dinner, or are you really just the band, or are you actually his bodyguards?
It's amazing. I mean, I've talked with writers, I've talked with Rob, and I've talked with the band, I've talked with everybody on the set. Anything can really happen. Believe me, writers have put stories together from people emailing them, saying, "Hey, I got a great idea. What do you think?" And they'll kind of take it in that direction. They'll throw some of that information into an episode that they're actually writing. It's not closed knit. They love hearing what people have to say. They're getting all this input from everyone. And if you go overboard, they're like, no, that's not going to happen. Kazz is not going to be the new Penguin. It's not going to happen. But we joke about it. We're like, it's cool being this clicky house band, and we get to learn the music. We ever get a chance to write our own stuff? Because right now we covered like the Clash scene. I can't remember now. Like not English beat, but it was we covered a cover of a band that was covering a band, and we had to do our own version in the studio. We were like, hey man, can we ever write our own music? Because we're all musicians. All the actors in the band are all musicians in New York City. And they said, look, you can put something together. If we like it, yeah, maybe we'll listen to it. But, you're not going to get any payola. There's not going to be music rights involved. We'll have to see what happens. You can't say too much because, you're not at liberty to, but we're always just looking forward to being on the next project with, the next episode, and hopefully finding out a little information right then and there. Because everybody does sign, an agreement saying that they can't give out too much info. And we can't even post photos of our set until the show actually comes out. And that's the hardest thing to do. But I remember talking to Robin, and we were like, let's get a picture. He's like, yes, no problem. And then, we snapped it on my phone. And then I said, I guess I can't put this out until the episode airs. And he goes, but there's no set behind it. This could have been done anytime. You can put it up right now. In fact, I want you to. I can tell you, I told you, he's one of the coolest guys I've ever worked with.
I remember seeing all his footage from Comic-Con, and it just looked like he was having an absolute ball.
He's the greatest. He was. And, you get to meet the fans, up front. In fact, I just did an awesome con down in Gaffney, South Carolina, in promotion for Chronology, as well as, my shows, One Tree Hill, there's Gotham, etc. And, it's so much fun meeting people that have seen your shows. It's so much fun. They know more about it than you do. I forgot a lot of my dialogue, if not all of it. And they're quoting you, and they're telling you what you want, and it wasn't right, and this, that, and the other thing, and it's really neat. I even had a few people come up to me and talk about NASA 360. And this older gentleman at school, he was a teacher at a school in Gaffney, talking about how he loved the show, how it was pumped into the school program, and they used to watch it every week. So it's nice. It's nice knowing that people actually appreciate your work.
Well, it's been really awesome and exciting to talk to you about all your projects. I really appreciate the time today. I hope everyone will be looking out for Johnny Alonso as more news comes out on Chronology. Be sure to watch Gotham, which premieres in September on the 21st, where we have the rise of the villains, and it's not clear yet whether Kazz will be the new Penguin, but it's probably a no. Thank you, Johnny.
I can say this. I mean, I'm not supposed to do too much, but if there was another spot for Oswald's band, it might happen in late October. Yeah, there's a date, that kind of circles around late October. So, that's all I can say. Put your imagination to it. You may be able to figure it out. But you'll be seeing Kazz again. There's no question. It's just 100%, actually.
And we'll be looking forward to it. Thanks, Johnny.